checking into Marketing Showcase on Demand. This is Adam Oldfield's presentation on what we can learn from motorway marketing. What on earth is motorway marketing? Well, of course, you're going to learn in this presentation, but I'm sure you're going to take some inspiration from it. This was recorded as part of Marketing Showcase online for December. It was a live event where we were joined by 6 expert speakers, all presenting different areas of marketing. It was a great day. Whether you were there or you're watching this for the first time, I hope you enjoy it.
So this actually is, like I say, one of my favorite talks, actually, motorway marketing, because we thought coming up towards Christmas, we're going to sort of make it a little bit more light-hearted than the usual sort of fairly heavy stuff. And this is one of the fun ones that when you're sort of reflecting on life and you're driving down the motorway, and it struck us as being particularly pertinent. So look, let's get into it. The first thing to note is my name's Adam. I'm the managing director of Force24. We're a marketing automation platform. We've been going for about 10 years. We work with literally thousands of UK marketeers, around about 4,500 UK marketeers, people just like you, doing direct comms. So we sending emails, whatever it might be, through our automation platform. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. You should definitely come and have a look at it. That's not what I'm here to tell you about. Whatever. Read all this later. Now, before I get started, I always have to prefix my talks with these 2 slides. That's 3. That's 2 slides. These are the things that I think make marketeers great. Now, if we're not doing these things, we need to take a look at ourselves and make sure we start to embody them. If we want to succeed in this world, in this market, this is what we've got to do. And the first one is, I've got to become energized and passionate. Too many times I see marketeers in the drudgery of the day. I want you liberated, I want you passionate, and I want you energetic. That's what it's all about. But you've got to maintain that dose of empathy. The dose of empathy is what means that we can connect with other people. It's really important. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Don't stand for second best. Please, guys, this is probably the one thing that I preach to our team all day, every day. Do not stand for second best, even if it is my own work that is in question, even if it's something that I've done and I don't think it's up to speed. Do not stand for second best, please. Got to be more Gordon Ramsay. And the final one is squint test. What is the squint test? The squint test is you have done something, you're appraising, you're about to send an email out, a paid search ad, whatever it might be. Put it up on screen before you approve it. Sit back in your chair, look at it, squint, and say, does the message pop? If it is, great. If it isn't, go back and revisit the drawing board. Those are the 3 things that I say that in our marketing department are the things that define us. These are the things that make us more successful. Now, there's one more thing. Usually you've seen me talk, I say this every single time. I make the difference. I am the glue, I am the magic, and I am the energy. We know marketing-led organizations succeed over non-marketing-led organizations. Even if my organization isn't yet focused on the marketing, it will be, and you're in the driving seat. So you need to remember that, even if nobody else around you, and that starts to rub off. So I want you to stick tight with those morals, please. And if you see me talk next week or whenever in a few months' time, I'm going to say the exact same stuff. Doesn't matter what I'm talking about. Let's say the same stuff. Okay, so here's what it's all about. I know I'm not doing the presentation mode. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. We all get what is there. By the way, you get to download this at the end. So don't feel like you have to sit there and make notes or anything. Not that people make notes anymore. We've got video. We're on Zoom. But the point is, well, you can download it later. Now, here's what I want you to think about. This is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, right? But it's relevant. And what we found is that we find ourselves at the motorway services quite regularly with a coffee in our hands. We didn't need a coffee. We didn't even need to stop. But the motorway services, this is probably pre-lockdown, more relevant, when we used to go on the motorways. Remember those things with 3 lanes? Some of them had 3 lanes. And we used to go places, and we'd find ourselves at the services, perhaps going for a wee, having a coffee, having even a pasty or something like that. But why did we end up there? Did we want fuel? No, because we know not to put fuel in when it's on the motorway. It costs like 10 times more. But we got sold to, didn't we? We got sold to, and that's what I want to talk to you about there. And this is a little technique that we should all look at, because this is what savvy marketeers are doing every single day. And actually, it's what you're doing every single day when you're trying to get people to do things. But are we doing it in our marketing? And this is the point. So I'm drawing a parallel here. I'm not saying that the government had a secret plot to make us have more wheeze and drink more coffee, but definitely the two go hand in hand. But that definitely is a byproduct of what they achieved. So the secret is in the signage. And there's 2 points here. Number one is simplicity, and number two is value. How cool is that? Simplicity and value. Who'd have thought a marketeer should be responsible for delivering signage that is simple and delivers value? Okay, so let's have a look at that. Simplicity is all about not repeating. Yet we're selling the same thing, but I have to repeat. But I can't repeat. So this is where it gets interesting on the motorway. Also, the value comes from not the benefit I'm going to get from this particular whatever it is that I'm trying to sell. So let's take those two things. The other difficulty is what's scarcity. What's always going to be there is our product. How do I make it scarce? So one of the things in marketing that we know makes a difference is creating scarcity. If I can create scarcity in my product, in my offer, whatever it is I'm trying to get you to do, you will act. Because you will, if I'm asking you to download something, go and read this wonderful guide or whatever it is. Oh, but it's only going to be there for 24 hours. That's scarcity. And it's difficult because sometimes, like I say, I sell nuts and bolts, I sell widgets, and we've got a factory in China that produces billions of these, and I've got a warehouse. I'm just trying to get rid of them. I have to generate scarcity somehow. It's difficult. So I'm going to talk to you about how the motorways generate that scarcity. And again, what I'm saying to you here is this is very difficult for me because I've got marketeers on the other side of this Zoom call that work for local housing authorities, that work for retailers, they work for engineering companies, whatever it might be. And so what I'm trying to do is deliver this at a top level, broad brush approach, but we have to create scarcity somehow. Okay. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's journey is different. When I'm on the motorway, I'm going to see my granny. I'm going to see my mum and dad. I'm going to see a business customer. I'm going to see whatever it may be. Yet the signage still works. You're going to do something totally different. We're all going at different hours of the day, different days of the week, different reasons, yet the signage still works. That's really clever, isn't it? When you think about it, it's a message that works for everybody, no matter what stage of their journey they're on. So it's important that we know that that's the situation, and then it enables us to not get hung up too much about delivering. And I know this is going to sound like against the advice of everybody that gives you too much segmentation in my messaging. Segmentation isn't all about sending you a different message. It's about understanding where you are on your journey and making sure that you get it in the right sequence. So segmentation isn't, you're a plumber, I'm going to send you an email about my widget with pictures of pipes on it. That's not segmentation. Well, it is, and it is personalization, but it's not the essence. It's not what makes us effective. Let's take that motorway signage and let's get into this. I think we've got a couple more little amuse-bouche slides, but then we're into the meat. So this is the 7-step motorway journey. This is what the motorways do to us. And we've mapped this against an event. So I'm skipping around. Sorry about this, guys. So this is the 7-stage motorway journey. And what we've done is we've taken the motorway signs and pretended that we're having an event. We're holding an event, okay? So an event, a webinar, let's say. And what I want to do is use the motorway signs to tell you to come to our event in the same way they tell us to come to the services, okay? So here we go. The first thing is, what we do is we have to introduce. So step 1 is the introduction. And we're all familiar with these signs here that tell me how far away the services are. And that's what I want to do with my event introduction. What's important is the first sign that you see on the motorway that talks about the services doesn't give me any detail. Granted, we've got the context. We as consumers already know what's at services, but we don't know if it's a KFC, a Burger King, a McDonald's, or whatever. We don't know we don't know if there's fuel there based on what we've got here. But what we do know is that in 22 miles, 33 miles, or 66 miles, I'm going to have to make some choices. And that's what the job of that first sign is, because we know you can't go to this. You can't just turn off the services right now and go to the services. You can't, because it's 22 miles away. So what I've got to do, just like my event, it's in 5 days' time, 10 days' time. I can't just immediately go to the event now. So I've got to start building that desire. And so if I try to say always, sign up now, sign up now, sign up now, am I building the desire? Or am I just getting people to sign up and they might forget? I'm not saying don't use sign up now, but what I'm saying is, these are the parallels that I want you to understand. So let's move on. What does that look like in real life? So we've all seen it. This is what it looks like. And what goes through my mind at this sign? Oh my God, can I last 22 miles to the next services? I don't think, what am I lasting? What do you mean lasting? I see that as a break, as a beacon of hope. I'm nearly, I can take a little break. I'll take the 33 miles. I think I can last 22 miles, but 33 possibly, but 66 is going to be way too far away. So that's what's really clever here. They've created that middle ground in my event. So I've got an event coming up. It's brilliant. Great news, guys. We've got one next week. Or you can't make that one. There's one in 2 weeks. But if you can't make that one, don't worry. There's one in 3 months. Well, I definitely can't wait. I can't wait that long. I need to go sooner. Now, remember, I'm not setting desire at this stage. Okay, so the next thing is we start to add details. And we all know about these. The driver might have missed that first sign. And that's another thing that's important to know. This is about repetition without being repetitive. So this is about saying, okay, the next services are coming up, but now we add detail. We're not talking about the services in 33 miles or in 66 miles. We're talking now specifically about the services that are coming up in 5 miles. And we're giving you really simple, really concise signage that tells you what's on offer there. Obviously, we've now adapted that and there's now pictures of KFC and things like that on there. But the point is, it's now actually not the fact that the detail is on there. It's the fact that you've now been given only 5 miles to act. So what's started to happen in here is the signs are instilling urgency. We don't realize it. They're not saying buy now, buy now, buy now, download now, you must do this now. What they're doing is they're just starting to distill urgency. It's coming up, guys. You're going to have to start thinking about it. Okay, so what does that look like? There we go. Oops, there we go. So certain people on their journey, you remember I said right at the very beginning, some people are on a journey to their grandmothers, some people are on the way to a meeting. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Thank goodness, only 5 miles to go and I can have a coffee. And it's weird because before that, I didn't even want a coffee. It's really strange. Interestingly, I've got a jumper. It's not this one. This says Force24, but I've got a jumper that says coffee. Okay, right across the front, just says coffee. Weirdest thing is, when I'm on Zoom calls with customers or with our team or whatever it is, I get to see that word coffee all the time across my chest. You wouldn't believe the amount of coffee I drink on a day when I'm wearing my coffee jumper. It's crazy. Little things like that are just setting these scenes. And we don't need, you really want a nice coffee. It's delicious. You'll love it. The taste of it's wonderful. Don't need that because I understand a lot of this. Just the sparse detail is what's important. So some people at this point are thinking, oh God, only 5 miles to go. Did I have a coffee? Some people are now thinking, yeah, you know what? Now you mention it, I could do with a break. That's what's exciting. So not only people that saw the first one are now engaged by this one, but people that didn't see the first one are now starting to think, oh, there we go. Got services coming up in a minute. And we're not talking about 33 miles and 66 miles, we're talking about 5 miles here. Okay. Step 3. Now what we're starting to do is build urgency. And this is, you might have seen our human argument. And this all plays in beautifully into the hands of the human argument. And this is about instilling that real sense of urgency. But this is what the stage that we'd call logic. And logic is where we put it all together. And we say, look, it's only 3 miles away, or it's 1 mile away. And there's all of these things here. Oh, and the signpost, think of a signpost like a call to action. The signpost of how to get there is it's just off there. So your next thing you've got to do is turn left at the next available turning left. So think about what we're trying to do there. We're now saying, okay, now the gates are open. You now need to start acting on this now. So urgency is really coming to the fore. So let's have a look at how that looks when we see it on the sign. We know how it looks like that. So now what am I doing? I'm building urgency, and what that does to me in the car is it sets that desire. It's already in concrete and it's now cast in iron. So it's now saying, I'm keeping my eyes peeled for the next exit. We're almost there. How far was it until the next services again? So some people are thinking, I'll take it. Other people are thinking, you know what? I don't need a wee just yet. Actually, I can do with cracking on. So you know what? How far again was it to the next services? But they're not talking about the next services here. They're talking about the signpost to this services. Okay. Step 3. are you going to miss out? And we know that these ones are, I think these are the most powerful of all. And what these signs are actually doing is look at the simplicity of these messages. And this is where the frequency of the signage goes up. So in the past, we had one at 22 miles out. We then had one at 5 miles out. We then had one at 1 mile out. And then we have 3 signs at 300 yards, good old fashioned yards. And let's have a look at what those look like. We know what they look like. It looks like these. So what I'm saying here is, yes, here we go. Costa, here I come. Let's just go to these ones. We're here now. We might as well go in there. So that's what these signs are doing. Actually, I've got half an hour. I might as well go and get coffee. But look at what I want to demonstrate there is, number one, the urgency message is not with flamboyant copy. It's not with flamboyant imagery. What it is just 3 lines. Now, granted, we've all studied the highway code at some point, so we kind of do know what they mean, and we do know what's at services. So there's a little bit of residue of the brand in there as well. But the point that I want to make is that level of frequency, the cadence of those communications was not so high right back there, but it is now. And me as a motorist, those 3 lines I have linked to my coffee or my Costa coffee or my going to the toilet, whatever it might be. And when I get to the second, the third, last one in, here I go. So the simplicity of the most powerful urgency related messages are obviously the important thing. Now it'd be interesting to see what would happen if we just didn't have those. We just took them off the motorway. So it went from 1 mile to, oh crap, we've gone past it. So that's why, and it doesn't say it's related to the services, it's just lines, it's just slashes. Really, really powerful. Okay, but then what? Okay, I didn't stop at the services on this particular occasion, but guess what? There's another one. There's another one, and it's only in 11 miles time. So sorry you missed that one. The next one's actually in X amount of time. So we don't want to say, because scarcity is only a construction that we've made, it's not real. Obviously, the nuts and bolts that we sell, they're always going to be there. Sometimes scarcity does exist for real, supply. I know if you're buying kids' Christmas presents right now, everything is out of stock. So that's real life scarcity. But here, this is all about saying, look, that fake scarcity that I created, actually, you know what? I'll get you in on the next one. And we repeat the whole process again. And we wait for the countdown. And it's so repetitive. And it's that repetition that gives me that confidence to know, oh, it's coming up. It's coming up. And that's what I want you to take away. So let's put that back into the context of email for a second and look at the creative. So what I often see for a lot of marketeers is the fact that we go hard and heavy with creative. We have to set brand, and we're often confused, I think, as marketeers, that brand is set through intense imagery or brand images or fonts or whatever it is. Yes, we have to maintain consistent fonts. We have to contain consistent typefaces and imagery. You've got that, of course. That's not what the consumer, not the person that's receiving that message, is buying. It isn't. What they're buying is what you've set at a deeper level subconsciously. Like when I said my coffee across the front of my chest, I'm drinking more and more coffee. The words coffee with simplicity, like I say, it didn't have the verbose nature, it didn't have everything there, just said coffee. So here's our view of how an email should work. And what we always talk about is the fact that Microsoft give out loads and loads of guidance as to how emails should be structured. And when I look at how Microsoft is saying they should be doing it, and we see marketeers doing it, there's this massive disconnect. And so here's the basic principle. Microsoft is saying that an email should be about 10 words. 10 words. And again, I've said this before in my talks, but it's about you knowing where you are on that scale. They're not saying, look, if it's 20 words, we're not going to let you in. They're not saying that. Bearing in mind, Microsoft are basically email these days. You've got Google and you've got Microsoft, and anybody else out there, when we send an email to anybody out there, it's probably landing in a Google inbox or a Microsoft inbox somehow. And the point that I want to make is that they own the world and they set the standards. And so what they're saying to us is distill it. Now, so 10 words. So where do I sit on that scale? I can't do my email in 10 words. I've got to be a bit more verbose than that. So what we want to do is we want to introduce this structure. Old school marketing, we used to have the AIDA principle. Do you remember AIDA? Attention, interest, desire, action. If you're designing a poster, attention, interest, desire, action. Email, digital, threw that all in the bin. That doesn't work anymore. But we think the principle's still there. So we just retermed it and we said, attention, interest, action, desire/trampoline. Wow. Interest, action. So what that's basically doing is it's saying, look, set the attention. If you're building emails that are newsletters, understand that a newsletter can never sell. Understand that. Come to peace that what you're trying to do is get content in front of people. But if you've got it in multi-column approaches where you've got lots of newsletters, don't, because it isn't going to get consumed at the rate of a simple message like that. So this, where we've got, oh, by the way, we've got a 98.2% client retention rate. Wonderful. Nice and easy for people to digest. And that gets the attention. Actually, that's not a brilliant attention line, to be honest with you. It'd be more like, guess what Katie Price has done now? I don't think that's very relevant for us, but it'd be, you know, that's the point. We then move into an interest, and the interest really is where I can consume a few more words, but no more than a headline and a single paragraph with a single call to action. Multiple calls to action mean I have to think. I'm not giving you my brain power. I just won't. So I can't expect to ask you for your brain power. So I have to give you what I think you want. And that's my job as an empathetic, energetic marketeer. So single call to action, single column, super easy, mobile first. This is the trampoline. So the trampoline is designed to get the eyes to go down, bounce back up. I bounce back up to where the call to action is. But below, I've got a bit more real estate I can play with. We're not saying give up after that point. You can still keep going a little bit, but it's just this real estate at the bottom of the page is less important. Nobody's reading it. So it's this that gets the attention. It's all up here, really, really simple. And then what I do, just like the motorway signs, once I understand that, I just don't change it. Because once I understand what, it's not whether it works. Once I understand that when I sit back and do my squint test, yeah, it works. I've got a simple message that's being distilled really, really concisely and a single call to action. It works. I just iterate it along for my different signs. So you've got your different reasons for talking to people, but look at how the design has remained the same. And that's what I want to bring to the table today. So the point that I want to make really is today that it's a bit of fun. Motorway marketing, it isn't a secret plot to make you buy coffee. It isn't. But it is a very well-designed signage structure that's all about making sure that you know the services are there. I bet the government actually has a bit of an obligation to get traffic into there because they probably charge huge rents and there's probably a premium for being there. So, but what they've achieved, whether they like it or not, is a really effective signposting system. It is a signpost, so that's, you know, kind of where the name comes from. But it's a really effective way. And I want you guys as marketeers to take a step back and look at what you do and think, how does what I do stack up against what the motorway is doing? So, quick summary before we move on. Sorry, quick summary before we move. That doesn't make sense. You must embrace your email deliverability role. So a lot about what we talk about is about delivering emails. It's about email, it's about automation, it's about SMS, it's about building landing pages, it's about automating your day to be more effective. That's what we're all about. So the final bit that I want to leave you with is, unlike the motorways, they bolt a sign on the gantry. You're seeing it. Whereas as a marketeer, one of our principal methods of communicating with people directly is email. And that has got gates. There's gates that stop my emails getting on. And poor list hygiene, I know everybody talks about poor list hygiene, is the thing that kills your message. So if you are not taking care of people that don't open your emails, get rid of them. You don't need them because they're not contributing to your business value. You might think, yeah, but they might open them in the future. Yeah, well, we're not saying don't, you know, delete them. But what we're saying is we need to understand this group of people are highly engaged. This group of people just aren't. And we'll treat these guys differently. So we have an extra complexity that the motorways don't have. And that is we've got a super engaged lane and a not engaged lane. And we have to treat them differently with different signages at different intervals. But that's what I want you to take away from today. So Ash will be absolutely blown away that my talk this time has ended within the prescribed period. So I'm really happy about that. I think I've nailed it.
That's unreal. I mean, it's unheard of. It's just I don't know how you've done it.
And you know what I didn't do today, Ash? I didn't do the social proof questions. And I really enjoy that part of where I put this into practice and I say, ask you some questions, and it usually demonstrates how the audience responds by me signposting more effectively. But if you want this presentation, there is a QR code. You can get your little phones out or your big phones, it doesn't matter. And you photograph that, you open your camera icon and off you go. And, and the final thing I want to leave you with, Ash, you got to remember pre-lockdown, when you had to do the little introductory talky things, you used to record it because you were scared of public speaking. Now look at you.
We've come such a long way together, Adam. It's because I steal inspiration from you and your energy, and I feed off it, and that's what's seen me through for sure. I tell you what, I had a nice plug or a nice link here, because you and I next week are doing a workshop or a masterclass on marketing automation. Right. So as Adam mentioned there, normally in his talks he goes miles over because he's got so much great stuff to share. Well, we're putting all of that into next week's marketing automation masterclass, and I'm launching a poll right now which will allow you to sign up. So if you want to know more about marketing automation, if you've got particular questions about email marketing, deliverability, we're going to address all of that. So just click yes please in the thing, and I'll make sure you're registered for that, and we can share all details of that.
Just to add to that, it's for everybody, whether it's something you think you need to embrace, whether it's something you've already embraced, you don't know how to embrace, it's there for everybody. Get the most out of what you're doing in your day.
Brilliant. And on top of that, the poll also gives you a chance to download their it's actually cut it off. That's poor by me, Adam. I apologize, but it's the ultimate marketing automation guide from Force24. So if you want hold of that PDF, we can send that over as well. So Adam, I'm going to take this chance to say thank you ever so much for your time today. I know you were hard pressed for it as we sort of did at the start. So thank you very much for joining us. Always appreciated. You're getting lots of thank yous in the chat as well, which is always nice to see. Thanks for watching the recording of this live keynote webinar. Did you know we've set up a YouTube channel where we've uploaded all of the other recordings for you to watch? Please just search for Marketing Showcase in YouTube and make sure you subscribe. See you soon, guys.